Don't judge me. I'm just waking up. Look at this little foo. So somebody's asking me about what's going on, that I might be like potentially that I'm considering doing a civil rights case. So I have such a hard time explaining this because it's a complicated issue, and I'm kind of trying to step away from making this kind of content because I feel like people don't understand, and that it's, for me, it feels like drama, but at the same time, it's like something that I have to deal with. But because of the fact that people have difficulty understanding the complexity of this kind of stuff, I've just I'm losing steam to want to keep like fighting on this, and in general, just making videos about it right now. That's what I mean. But so pretty much, here's the timeline of what has happened. And yes, I need to take a shower and get about my day here. The timeline is that I broke my foot, okay? And then I tried to get unemployment. I live in the state of Colorado. Colorado is the slowest state to pay out on unemployment benefits. I used to work for the Colorado Department of Labor handling unemployment. And, you know, we had a lot of people that were in need that I was pretty much, in my opinion, trained to dick them around and not help them. And like pretty much like I had a lady that was all the way on the west side of the mountains in Colorado that if she were to try and get a help, the only answer that I had would be to drive to the office in Denver. And so she would have had to drive over the entire mountain range just to get her petty unemployment. You know, unemployment doesn't give people a lot of money. So there's that, okay? Broke my foot, was unable to get unemployment. And then I spent 2 months opening as many tabs as I could on Indeed, slamming down job applications. It took me 2 months to find a job. I got a job with a work from home for a call center that had been just recently hired by Altice or Optimum USA. They are an internet company, and caught them engaging in fraud. So pretty much we were being trained to try and force our customers to make payments on illegitimate transactions. So there was like expenses that were not logged on the customer account. So I have this guy on the phone that's asking why his bill was $200, and I'm telling him that I can't explain the charge, and I've got like 3 or 4 managers probing his account with me. I had him on the phone for 3 hours or something, and told him, I was told to tell him that I would call him back. Called him back and told him to call us back on Monday. So we were unable to figure out where these charges came from, but I saw that on multiple accounts. And there were a lot of customers complaining about these kinds of things happening. And the company was not allowing me to escalate calls or have them probed. And they took disciplinary action for me trying to resolve customer complaints. And then I got fired after that one. Because first they took away my ability to escalate, and then they fired me after going in depth to probe that man's account to really show that, you know, you guys need to fix this. And that was an offshore call center that was run by corporate that was doing this. So I filed a complaint with the SEC, the FTC, the FCC, 2 state attorney generals, and also the Department of Labor, because I got fired in retaliation for discovering fraud. And the co-founder of Altice was Optimum, they have 2 names, was arrested in Portugal in July. I lost my job in like April or something. So the United States needs to investigate that, because Optimum / Altice USA, we're going straight down the rabbit hole. This is very complicated. They serve the entire East Coast of the United States. It's $1 million of embezzlement. That's fraud. And then after that, I went to a landscaping job because I needed a job, and I was able to get on my feet again, where I encountered a 19-year-old boy that did not want to work with a female, and I was his supervisor. The company was very disorganized. They begged me to stay. I should have left. And they fired me right at the point where all the landscaping companies have stopped looking for workers. So that put me in a bad spot. And then I'm trying to claim unemployment again. Now, I just moved out into like a kind of like the outskirts, like I'm kind of in the country in a way. There is not a lot of jobs out here, and we're in a recession right now, even though it hasn't been declared. Like, I think everybody knows this. So I have been faced with some extreme hardship. And in the middle of all this, so I used to work for unemployment, you know, and I'm seeing a lot of people that can't get their benefits, and I'm one of them, and it has caused my bills to lapse. It has caused a lot of financial hardship that I would not have necessarily had to deal with otherwise. And because of the fact that I used to work there, what I see is that Colorado is running its State Department of Labor's unemployment program the same as it was running it right when the pandemic started. So they're just refusing to help people. I've had problems with like trying to get food stamps, and saw that it's been in the news that they were like taking food stamps away from disabled people and stuff. And I'm noticing with all the problems I'm dealing with, like trying to get assistance and get out of my situation, that it seems like a lot of our Colorado departments are just ignoring people and refusing to help them. So I'm like, what's going on here? Because I've been on the inside, so that helps. And I noticed that Colorado, like we have a Facebook group where people talk to each other about how to try and get their unemployment. It's gotten that bad. And the solution has pretty much become to call the governor. They turned my unemployment on, and then they shut it right back off and claimed that there was an overpayment. There is something strange going on. I want to know why it is that Coloradoans have to call the governor if they want to get unemployment. That is very strange. So I'm getting pretty mad with all the financial hardship this has caused me. You know, I'm really at a point where I've got thousands of dollars of bills that have accumulated that I would not otherwise have, that I can't do anything about. So I'm just ignoring those bills until I can do something about it. And getting really mad and coming to deal with these fuckers. So I sent out 90 emails and several letters to Congress, and then Congress went and put these people on display. So whatever it is, you know, I put that, you know, this affects my civil liberties because I've been put into a situation of very duress, I guess. And this has hit a point where it's impacting my civil liberties because I'm being punished for being female. I'm being not able to work. My work history does not look good because I just ran into 2 very bad companies that are doing very bad things. There's a whole story behind what happened at that landscaping company, but at the end of the day, you know, when you're told, why don't you go work at Home Depot? I don't think women can do these kinds of jobs. Then, yeah, it's gender discrimination. So, the problem that I have now, though, is that at this point in the game, I've reached out to Congress. Congress is now, they're putting these people on display. And I'm seeing that there are so many governmental entities right now that are just not going to work. And I look at what's happening in our state where people are like, you know, fighting with a web page, and when they call, they get no answers and no assistance. And this is happening in multiple departments, and that includes the Department of Labor. So as far as your rights as a citizen are concerned, and the protections that you have with these programs that are supposed to help marginalized people, people that are experiencing financial hardship, women and minorities in the United States, you know, getting Social Security, getting food stamps, getting housing aid, all of that. And enforcing the law when it comes to companies doing illegal stuff, because the SEC is also MIA. And the head of the SEC is just saying that he has no idea what is going on in his department. This is a civil rights issue. So that's what's going on. Our government has not been present, and y'all have been interacting with web pages, and there's like, you know, a third of the work getting done. And the head of the SEC is just saying that he has no idea what is going on in his department. This is a civil rights issue. So that's what's going on. Our government has not been present, and y'all have been interacting with web pages, and there's like, a third of the work getting done that should be getting done, if even that. They're committing mass scale fraud through our federal state departments, and it's practically the whole government, and that is why crime is going through the roof. That is why there is so much illegal activity within business right now, probably because for 4 years of this going on, these companies are realizing that they are not bound by the law. So that is what we're dealing with. The United States does not have a government right now. The laws are not being enforced. And people have no idea because there's some crap that they're not even hearing about. All they know is they're struggling with a web page when they try to get help. Scandalous. But that's what's going on, and I'm having real difficulty getting a lawyer. Colorado Legal Aid Services called me. They're like, this issue is way too complicated for us to be able to handle. Well, when it comes to civil rights and going to court, one of the big problems is that it takes money to go to court. And so when you disparage a group and we then have to go to the legal system, this is part of that disparagement. People need to be able to defend their rights. I am not a lawyer, and I should not have my rights trampled upon in this way that forces me into poverty and all of that when I'm not the one doing wrong because I can't afford a lawyer. So that's what's going on the civil rights front. It's actually a very extremely huge, fucking threatening, horrifying issue. But people don't care. They want to look at cat memes on the internet. That's what's going on, though. You asked, I answered. There's the timeline. I'm very afraid that the SEC is not going to investigate this massive case of fraud and embezzlement that's taking place at Optimum/Altice USA. And for me, if they fail to do something about that, considering that the co-founder has been arrested in Portugal for fraud, and that's probably the call center I was directly interacting with, we have a huge problem. We have a very huge problem. And, because I'm smart and I learn a lot, there's a company, I'm going to state this about the United States not enforcing their laws. There's a company all the way out there in, I think it's like Minnesota, that has 3M polluted the entire planet with what's called forever chemicals. And that's what Americans do. And that's what happens when we allow companies to engage in illegal activities and don't speak up. We kill the planet. So if you don't know about forever chemicals and what's in your body and what's killing everybody and everyone slowly with this cancer epidemic that we're seeing, it's a good thing to know about. I'm going to stop this video now. And remember, if you found this content useful, don't forget to share, follow, and help raise public awareness. Check out the link tree in my bio and follow me on other platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and more.